Okay, gentlemen, if you can just sort of give me an overview of what ARES, first of all, what it stands for, what it is you do get involved in, and sort of your end as a volunteer organization, and where you fit in say an emergency situation.
Well, ARES stands for Amateur Radio Emergency Service, and we are amateur radio operators, and it's a hobby. But part of this hobby is a service to the community, and this service takes the form of amateur radio emergency service. So within our club, within Elmont, we have a group of about 15 amateur radio operators who have some training in emergency communications. We've established a emergency operations center at the local hospital in Elmont, and we take direction from the community group within Elmont, which convenes whenever there's an emergency. One of our members sits on that community group, and he receives direction as to how we would disperse ourselves, our mobile operators, to evacuation centers, and provide communication between those centers, the Emergency Operations Center, and to the community group which manages the exercise or the incident.
Right. So you're able to turn something that you were interested in, as you say, as a hobby, and apply that to actually helping the community directly.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have established repeater radio stations that cover Lanark County, and part of our radio equipment has evolved into digital radios, whereby we'll send text or video and file systems, just as you would normally over the internet. But we'll do it within the context of our group of radio amateurs.
Right. So you can end up being on call if an event does appear to be emerging, and then it would be either a local municipality or at the county level, I guess, if they have mobilized their own emergency operations center.
Right.
That you would hear from them a request.
Yes, that request would come to our emergency coordinator, which happens to be the president of our club, Rob here, and he would activate what is called our call-out tree. And our call-out tree is a listing of amateurs who are available, if they are available, to activate their radio stations either at home or mobiles, or the emergency operations center that we've set up.
Right. Now, in a prolonged incident, is there some sort of protocol in place for who's going to sign up to do this shift and so on? I don't know how many members you're dealing with, but is there some sort of scenario in mind for what you would do if it went on for quite a while?
Well, that's the call-out tree we have, okay. And of course, being volunteers, it's not like we have a full-time job, so whoever is available at that moment would fill in the positions that we need to get staffed. And then over time, the other members who were maybe not available at that time would then fill in, so we could probably cover off several days of operations from our various members within the club.
Now, I take it your organization has branches throughout. Is it beyond the region? Is it throughout Ontario, or is it?
It's throughout out of Canada, actually.
Okay.
It's part of the Radio Amateurs of Canada grouping in terms of the emergency services that they can provide. So it is, the term amateur radio emergency service doesn't just cover Canada as a whole, but it's also in the US. So there are standards and protocols that are interchanged between the two.
Now, I understand during the ice storm there was a request, sort of a call out for additional resources and equipment and so on beyond this end of the province that was hard hit to, say, closer to the Toronto area. And am I right in thinking that they used CP Rail to ship equipment, or?
We weren't aware of that other than what we had heard.
Okay.
But as far as in our area we were concerned, we were shipping equipment up into the remoter parts of Ontario, certainly North Lanark,
Right.
where there was no communication at all, whether it be by cell phone or landline, and of course a lot of places, particularly farming areas, that didn't have any power either.
Right.
So we were putting equipment up there as well as into the emergency centres like ARES and such like to have communications between the hospitals, the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, whoever agency or whatever agency needs to have communication.
Now, I take it, certainly back in '98, interoperability was an issue with a number of different agencies coming into this part of the world, and they couldn't communicate freely.
Right.
And ARES, as I understand, they offered a kind of a ride-along service
That's correct.
to act as the communications.
Yeah, you see, the interoperability with the primary agencies has been a problem, but of course in the amateur side, there's just certain frequency bands that were allocated, and most people are able to operate, most amateur radio operators can operate within those bands, so there is always an interoperability
Amongst ourselves.
capability amongst ourselves. Yes, as Tom said. Yeah.
Very good. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. I will pass this on, and I'll let you know how things work out. Thank you.
Okay.